She didn't look like much, just a plain woman in a faded brown coat, hair tied back in a loose knot, eyes soft but unreadable. She stepped onto the range like a ghost barefoot, holding a rifle that looked older than the paint on the walls. It was the Silver Mark Elite range, a monument to wealth, war, and reputation. The kind of place where senators shook hands with weapons contractors, where Olympic medalists laughed over cigars. And when she showed up with that old rifle and no fanfare, the sneers began before she even spoke. But she didn't speak. That was the thing. Not once. She just kept walking past the marble steps, past the bronze plaques, past the people who were already writing her off before a single shot was fired. They didn't know what was about to happen. A man in a tailored vest, sipping bourbon, chuckled, "You sure you're in the right place, sweetheart? The janitor's closet is back that way." Another shook his head and whispered, "Let her try. This'll be good for a laugh." The judge leaned into his mic and muttered, "This isn't a charity shoot." Her boots were missing, traded for silence on the concrete floor. Her rifle was chipped, the kind you'd see in a surplus bin, not in the hands of someone about to challenge the best. Bets started flying before she even got to the table. 50 says she misses every target. 100 if she cries. A clipboard was passed around titled "The Rookie Flop." Phones were out, recording every move, but she said nothing. Just loaded her rifle, one round at a time, her hands steady. Out of silence wasn't fear. It was the calm before the reckoning. She laid the bullets down like prayer beads, hand-loaded, brass gleaming in the light. Every movement was intentional. No showmanship, no bravado, just purpose, like her father taught her. Feel the round. Know it before it leaves you. She adjusted her sling, checked the wind flag, and looked down the 300-meter range. This wasn't about proving them wrong. It wasn't about ego. It was about truth. The kind that doesn't shout, it whispers, yet it carries farther than any gunshot. In her silence, you could hear the heartbeat of a woman who knew what this moment meant. This wasn't just a firing line. This was a reckoning, a return. The woman with no rank, no wealth, and no allies stood where giants had stood, and she wasn't shaking. Because when the world tells you you're nothing, and you know you are something, silence becomes a weapon. Then came the legend himself. Major Noah Graves, 10-14 Bullseyes, no scopes, no adjustments. They called him the Machine. His custom rifle looked like it had its own military clearance. His fans wore tactical hoodies with his name stitched on the sleeves. He walked with a presence, shoulders square, eyes ice blue. He looked at her, half amused, half offended. "You bring a museum piece to a sniper duel?" He smirked. "Come back when you've got a real rifle. Or maybe just mop the floors instead." The crowd roared with laughter. Even the announcer chuckled. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's entertainment begins early." But she didn't flinch. She looked at him, not up, not down, just straight. Then she turned to the range and began her setup. He had medals, she had memories, he had fans, she had reasons. The difference would soon matter. Then she did something that stunned them all. She pulled a black silk cloth from her pocket, folded it slowly, then tied it around her eyes. A blindfold. The crowd erupted. Phones were raised, laughter echoed. Someone shouted, "Is this a daredevil act?" Another yelled, $10 says she shoots the bench." But she didn't even blink. She set her feet, kicked off her shoes, and grounded herself on the cold concrete like she'd done this 100 times. Her hands were steady, her breath slow. She loaded the rifle with the confidence of someone who wasn't guessing she knew. She could feel the weight of the room shift. The judges exchanged glances. "She's not breaking the rules," one whispered. "Let her crash and burn," said another. The bet board was updated. Blind Bullseye's odds 100-1, but she wasn't performing. She was reclaiming something. And the first shot was about to prove it. The air went still. She took one breath, then another, then crack. The sound echoed like thunder through the range. A moment later, the screen zoomed. In Bullseye, a red dot at the center. Laughter died. Murmurs replaced it. Few jaws fell open. She reloaded, fired again. Bullseye. Shot 3 bullseye. No adjustments, no corrections. Just instinct. Like her father taught her. The range turned quiet, save for the soft click of brass. By the 5th shot, people were standing. Eyes narrowed. Judges leaned forward, checking screens. One of them muttered, "That rhythm, that stance, that can't be coincidence." It wasn't. Her rifle sang like a hymn from a long-lost church. No. Each shot a sermon, every impact a revelation. A storm was building. Not in the air, but in the hearts of those watching. This wasn't luck. This wasn't madness. This was mastery. After the 10th shot, the screen lit up like a flare. 10 red dots stacked perfectly down the line. The silence was total. The only sound was the flag fluttering at the far end of the range. She reached up, pulled off the blindfold, and looked straight ahead. The judge stood. "Only one man ever shot like that?" he whispered. "That's the phantom shot." Cameras zoomed in. Reporters rushed. She didn't flinch. Just looked at them with eyes that burned calm. "That man," she said, voice soft but sharp, "was my father." The crowd gasped. Noah Graves dropped his gear. One judge backed into his chair. "Owen Vale," someone said aloud. Owen Vale's daughter. In that moment, the room cracked. All the mockery, all the arrogance, collapsed into awe. Her silence had roared louder than any rifle ever could. Noah Graves, the man who had mocked her moments ago, lowered his eyes. He turned and walked off the line, saying nothing. The judge, who had once laughed, fumbled for the mic but didn't speak. The bet board was erased. Its place, someone wrote, "Legend Reborn." Greg Palmer, the tech mogul, sat stunned, his cigar gone cold in his hand. Clara, the Olympic sharpshooter, had tears in her eyes. The range fell still as she slung the rifle over her shoulder and stepped down barefoot. Not a celebration, not a victory lap, just a quiet walk, straight into legend. Behind her, the crowd was changing. Something had shifted, permanently, because you can fake talent, but you can't fake truth. And she had just delivered it round after round without ever needing to speak. She didn't attend the press conference. She didn't smile for the photos. She didn't sell her story. Days later, she was seen in a desert town, alone, running a small shooting camp for teens who couldn't afford range time. She taught them breath, patience, instinct, used the same chipped rifle. One of her students, Maria, age 14, hit her first bullseye and wept. "She believed in me," she told a local reporter. The story went viral. People started showing up just to see the woman who changed the world with 10 blindfolded shots. She said little, smiled even less. But her lessons spread like wildfire. "Aim with your heart," she told one boy. "The rest will follow." And they did. The range she left behind. Now they call it Vale's mark, because that's what legends do. They leave marks, not autographs. 1 year later, a statue was unveiled at Silvermark, bronze, life-size, her, mid-shot, blindfolded, barefoot. The plaque read, "Harper Vale, the Phantom Shot, 2025. The same judge who once mocked her attended the ceremony." He wept. Clara gave a speech about humility, about greatness, about how silence sometimes speaks louder than any roar. Noah Graves had retired. His record's still there, but now second best. The statue became a pilgrimage site. Young shooters knelt before it. Veterans saluted, not because she won, but because she made them believe again. She reminded them what skill looked like before it was bought and sold. She didn't come to win, she came to prove. And in 10 shots, she rewrote the rules. So what's the lesson? You might see someone walking in with old gear and worn shoes. You might laugh at their silence, scoff at their scars. But if life's taught me anything in my 60 years, it's this: never mistake quiet for weak. And never, ever bet against the one who doesn't talk, because they're usually the ones who know exactly what they're about to do. Harper Vale didn't just shoot 10 bullseyes. She shot down every assumption, every insult, every ounce of arrogance in that arena. And she did it with nothing but instinct, legacy, and heart. So if you ever find yourself doubted, overlooked, underestimated, remember her and aim with your soul.